The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there lived many animals who spent their days happily. Among them were Hare, a named Hare, and Tortoise named Timmy. Hare and Timmy was being very fast and friends. They both were so good friends. One day, Hare was bragging to the other animals as usual. "I'm the fastest animal in the forest. No one can beat me," he exclaimed. Putting off this jest with pride, the animals tired of listening to Hare's words, rolling their eyes. But no one except Timmy and the Tortoise. With a calm and gentle voice, Timmy spoke up. "Hare, I may not be fast as you, but I believe that with patience and determination, I can beat you in race." The forest animal gasped. How could slow Timmy ever hope to beat speedy Hare? But Timmy believed in himself. That was enough. The news of the race went viral to the forest throughout. When the race began, Hare shot off like a bolt of lightning. He sprinted ahead, leaving Timmy far behind. He raced out of the path. Confident in his speed, Hare decided to take a break under a shady tree. "I will just rest for a while, let Timmy catch me up," he thought to himself. "Once he draws close, I will still run ahead the race and win it." With that, he laid down and soon fell into deep sleep. Meanwhile, Timmy was making his long way path step by step. He wasn't steady but determined. The other animals watched this amazement. "Look at Timmy," they whispered to one another. "He may be slow, but he hasn't stopped." Hours passed and Timmy, with his slow and steady pace, was getting closer to the finish line. The sun was beginning to set. The animals grew excited. Could Timmy be slower than Tortoise? Who will win the race? Back in the tree, Hare finally woke up from his nap. He stretched his yawned and feeling refreshed. "Now it's time to win the race," he thought to himself confidently. But when he looked around, he couldn't see Timmy anywhere. Panicking instead, he realized that Tortoise might be ahead of him. Hare leaped to his feet again and running as fast as he could towards the finish line. His legs moved like a wind. He felt sure that he would still win the race. But as he approached the riverbank, he saw that he made spots in his track. They crossing the finish line with Timmy. Tortoise won the race. The forest animals cheered Timmy closest the finish line. Hare stood up in shock and unbelievable with what just happened. Hare walked to Timmy and he was still smiling and proudly too humble and said, "I don't understand." Hare said, "I'm so much faster than you. How did you win?" Timmy looked at Hare and said, "You may be faster, Hare, but speed isn't everything. You stopped to rest, thinking you would win easily, but I kept going on, slow and steady. Sometimes not about how fast are you. It's about staying focused and never giving up." From that day on, Hare no longer boasted about other animals or fastest animal in the forest. Instead, he respected the qualifications of patience, determination, and perseverance, just like Timmy. The moral of the story is, kids, slow and steady wins the race. Patience and perseverance are sometimes more important than speed. It's not how fast you start, it's about how determined you are to finish. When even the path seems long and difficult, staying focused and never giving up will lead to your success. So kids, that's it for today's videos. Thank you so much for watching.
The brave little squirrel, courage over fear. In the heart of an old, thick forest, there lived a tiny squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was the smallest of all the squirrels of his trees. His fur was soft and brown. His eyes sparkled like tiny beads of dew. Though Sammy was small, he was very curious and loved exploring. But Sammy had one problem. He was scared of almost everything. The rustling leaves, the hooting of owls at night, and even the shadow of a passing bird made him tremble. His brothers and sister often laughed at him. "Sammy, you are too scared of everything," his sister Susie teased him one day. Sammy looked down sadly. "I just don't like danger," he replied. One bright sunny morning, Sammy was playing near the roots of a big oak tree. The forest was alive with sounds. Bird chirping, bees buzzing, and squirrel chatting. Suddenly, the cheerful mood of the forest changed. A loud growl echoed through the trees. The animals froze in fear. It was Max, the big bad fox. Max was known to be a troublemaker, always sneaking around and trying to catch small animals. The squirrel quickly screwed up the trees, hiding the branches. Sammy climbed up too, but his paws were shaking. Max prowled around the tree, sniffing the air. I know you are up there, he said with a sly grin. Come down, little squirrel. I just want to play. But everyone knew Max wasn't playing. As squirrels hide quietly, Sam noticed something amazing. Baby Nibbles, the youngest squirrel, wasn't in the tree. She had been playing in an acorn near the ground. He hadn't climbed up in the tree. Sam perked up through the leaves and saw Nibbles hiding in bushes, shivering in fear. Max hadn't seen her yet, but it was only a matter of time. Sammy's heart raced. What should he do? He was so scared, but he couldn't just leave Nibbles there. Taking a deep breath, Sammy whispered to the siblings, I'm going to help Nibbles. Are you crazy? Susie hissed. Max will catch you. I have to try, Sammy said firmly. He didn't feel brave, but he knew he couldn't leave Nibbles behind. Sammy climbed down the trees as quietly as he could. His little heart was pounding like a drum and kept on going. Sammy reached the ground and kept towards Nibbles. Don't be scared, he whispered. I am here to help you. But what about Max? Nibbles whimpered. Sam thought quickly. He spotted a pile of dry leaves nearby and had an idea. Stay hidden behind the bushes, he told to Nibbles. And Sammy gathered the dry leaves and climbed back up to the low branch, holding the leaves in his tiny paws with his almighty. What's that? Max growled. The stretches by leaves. He walked around and the pile to investigate. Sammy looked and chanced to signal Nibbles. Run to the tree now. Nibbles started out from the bushes and climbed up the tree as fast as the little legs could carry. Sam started to climb up back too, but Max spotted him. Ah, a little squirrel snack. Max snorted, barking in sharp treats. Sammy froze. His body trembled with fear, but he remembered why he had come down in the first place. I won't let him catch me, Sammy thought. Using a small size of his advantage, Sammy quickly darted between the branches, staying just out of Max's reach. He led the Max away from the tree where the other squirrel has hidden. Come, get me if you can, Sammy called, trying to sound braver than he felt. Max chased him after. Sammy was quicker and clever. Sammy watched from a height and branch Max skulked away in the forest. When Sammy returned to the tree, the other squirrel cheered. Yay, you did it, Sammy, Susie said, hugging him tightly. You saved Nibbles and scared Max away. Nibbles looked up at Sammy with wide eyes. Thank you, Sammy. You're the bravest squirrel ever. Sammy blushed. I was scared the whole time, he admitted. But you still did what is right, Susie said. That's what makes you brave. From that day on, the Sammy was no longer known to be the scared squirrel ever. He realized that being brave didn't mean everything feeling afraid. It means facing your fears to help others. The animals in the forest often told the story of Sammy, the brave little squirrel who showed everyone that courage comes from the heart. The moral of the story is, true courage is not the absence of the fear, but ability to act in spite of it. Helping others is the bravest thing you can do. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
The title of the story is The Foolish Lion and the Clever Rabbit. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a lion named Leo. He was mighty but cruel lion who hunted the animals in the forest, not only for food but for fun. The animals lived in constant fear for King Leo. One day, the animals decided they couldn't live in fear anymore. They held a meeting under a big banyan tree to find a solution. The wise old Tortoise spoke up. Why don't we make a deal with the lion? We can promise to send one animal to him every day for his meal. That way, he won't hunt us randomly. The animals agreed with the Tortoise idea and went to meet King Leo. The clever fox, acting as their leader, said to the lion, Your Majesty, we have a humble request. Instead of hunting all of us, we will send you one animal every day for your meal. This way, you won't hunt every day and we can live peacefully. King Leo thought about it. He liked the idea, but not having to work hard for his food. Very well, he wrote, but if you fail to send an animal, I will hunt and kill as many as of you I want. The animals agreed, though they were sad that one of them would be sacrificed each day. Days turned into weeks. The animals sent one animal every day to the lion. Then they did it. The turn was of clever rabbit named Rini. Rini didn't want to be eaten by the lion, so she thought of a plan to save herself from other animals. Rini walked very slowly to King Lion's den, arriving much later than usual. By the time she reached the lion was hungry and furious. "Why are you so late?" roared King Leo. "Do you have the value of your king?" Rini bowed politely and said, "Oh, mighty king, I apologize for the delay, but there is a reason. I was on my way. There another lion stopped me. He said he is the true king of this jungle and wanted to eat me instead. I told him that this forest has already a great king, you, but he didn't believe me." King Leo's eyes burned with anger. "Another lion in my forest? How dare he? Show me where he is. I will teach him a lesson." Rini nodded and said, "Follow me, your majesty. I will take you to him." The clever rabbit led King Leo through the forest and stopped being the deep well. She pointed inside and said, "The another lion is hiding there. He said he is too powerful for your defeat." King Leo peered into the well and saw his own reflection in the water. But foolish lion thought it was another lion staring him back. He roared loudly, and his roar echoed back from the well. Thinking the lion, another lion, he challenged him. King Leo became furious. "I will show him who the real king is." Without thinking, King Leo jumped into the well and fight for his enemy. But the well was deep and the King Leo couldn't swim. He struggled for a while but eventually drowned. Rini ran back to the other animals and told what happened. They were overjoyed and celebrated the clever rabbit's bravery and intelligence. The moral of the story is, kids, wisdom and intelligence are more powerful strength. Even the smallest and the weakest can overcome great challenges. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
The Elephant and the Birds, a tale of friendship and unity. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest filled with tall trees and sparkling streams, there lived an elephant named Jumbo. Jumbo was big and strong, with shiny grey skin and large ears that flapped whenever he walked. Despite of his size, he was gentle and kind, always helping the smaller animals whenever they need him. In the same forest, there lived a flock of birds who lived in the banyan tree. The flock was led by a wise sparrow named Chirpy. Chirpy cared deeply for her flocks and always looked out for their safety. One sunny morning, Jumbo walked to the banyan tree to greet the birds. "Good morning, Chirpy. How are your flocks today?" he asked in a deep friendly voice. Chirpy chirped happily. "Good morning, Jumbo. We are well. Thank you. How are you?" Jumbo smiled and said, "I am fine. I have noticed something strange. The forest seems quieter than usual. Have you noticed this too?" Chirpy nodded. "Yes, some birds have been missing. I don't know what's happening, but it worries me." Just then, a little pigeon named Coco flew in, panting and scared. "Chirpy, Jumbo, I have seen men setting up traps near the rivers. They're trying to reach each bird and other animals." Chirpy gasped. "This is terrible. We must do something to protect the forest and its creature." Jumbo thought for a moment and said, "We need to work together. If we are unity, we can't stop anyone." The birds agreed. They all agreed to plan. Jumbo said, "I will use my strength to block the paths, whether they are traps or said. Chirpy, you and your flock can fly above and warn the animals about the danger. Coco, can you keep an eye on the men and let us know what they are doing?" Coco nodded bravely. Yes, I will watch them and report back. The next day, the men returned to the nest and cages. Coco followed them quietly and saw whether they are setting traps. She flew back to the banyan tree and told Jumbo and Choppy. Jumbo stomped through the forest, using his strong leg to knock down the branches to cover the traps. The birds flew from the tree to tree, warning the other animals. Stay away from the river, there are traps. They chirped loudly. The monkey swung tree to tree, passing the message along, and the squirrel also did the same. Frustrated, the men said, these animals are too clever. We will set more traps tomorrow. This is a great idea. The others, the Jumbo and the birds knew that they are doing something bigger to stop men for good. The next morning, when the man returned to the forest, unusual quiet, they started setting their traps. Choppy, with her flock, began to sweep down. What's happening? One of them shouted. Just then, Jumbo charged through the forest, shaking the ground with his powerful steps. The trees swayed. Let's get out of here, one of them yelled, dropping their net. Choppy had always thanked Jumbo. He couldn't do it without you, Jumbo. Your strength and courage saved the forest. Jumbo, with a smile, and said, and I couldn't have done it without you, Choppy. Your wisdom and teamwork, your flock have made this possible. Together, we are stronger. From that day on, the forest was peaceful again. The men never returned, and the animals lived happily, knowing that friendship and unity protect their home. Jumbo and the birds remained close friends, always helping each other whenever there was a problem. Their story became a legend in the forest, teaching animals for a generation and that unity and kindness could overcome any challenge. Unity is a strength. By working together and helping each other, we can own the biggest challenge. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
A lesson of kindness from Bluebird. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by green hills and tall trees, there lived a small garden filled with beautiful flowers. Birds of all kinds came to this garden and rest, sing, and find food. Among these birds was a lovely bluebird named Bella. Bella had shiny blue feathers that sparkled in the sunlight, and she was known for her sweet voice. Bella was not just beautiful, she was also kind-hearted. She loved helping others, and all the birds in the garden looked up to her. She spent her days singing, gathering food, and caring for her fellow birds. But there was one bird in the garden who didn't share Bella's kindness. His name was Max, a sparrow with rather bad temper. Max was always in a hurry. He cared about only himself. He never shared food. He always took best branch for himself to rest on. One day, as Bella was sitting on the high branch, she saw Max arguing with little Robin. The robin had found some berries, but Max, being bigger, had pushed the robin away and taken all the blueberries for himself. Bella decided that instead of scolding Max, she would teach him the value of kindness in a different way. She flew down to the little robin and gently said, "Don't worry, little friend. There are many berries in the garden. I will help you to find some." The robin smiled gratefully. Together, Bella and little Robin flew around the garden and soon found themselves a bush of ripe berries. Bella let the robin eat first, and then, which was full, she took some berries for herself. Bella saw this as her chance to teach Max a lesson in kindness. She picked up some berries in her beak and flew over to Max. She placed the berries in front of him and said, "Here, Max, you can have these berries. I must know you are hungry." The Max was surprised. No one had ever food before him, especially not after the way he treated others. He looked at Bella confused. "Why are you giving me these berries?" he asked. "I was not kind to you or anyone else." Bella smiled and said, "Because kindness is not the way about what do others for you. It's about what you do others for. When they were kind, We always make the world a better place to live in. Max didn't know what to say. He took the berries and ate them slowly, thinking about Bella's words. He watched carefully. Bella flew back to the robin and together they sang a happy tune. Max realized that while he spent this time taking his others, Bella had spent her time giving and making others happy. The next day, something unexpected happened. A storm rolled into the village. Dark clouds scattered in the sky, and soon the wind began to blow fiercely. As the wind grew stronger, Max felt scared and alone. He found a small bush, but it wasn't enough to keep himself from warmth and wind. Suddenly, through the rain, Max heard a familiar voice. It was Bella. She was calling him from nearby tree. "Max, over here," she called. Max looked up and saw Bella sitting on the strong tree with the thick branches that provided a good shelter from storm. With thinking twice, Max flew over to Bella and landed beside her. Bella moved over to make the room for Max. "Stay here, Max. This tree will help you to safe until the storm passes." Bella smiled gently and said, "Everyone deserves kindness, Max." Melt, faith with cat. Max felt tear with wellings in eyes. When the storm finally ended, the sun began to shine again. Max looked at Bella and said, "I want to change, Bella. I want to be kind like you. I realize now being selfish has only made me lonely, but kindness has brought you so many friends and happiness." That day, Bella and Max more sitting together on a branch, watching the sunset, the sky painted in beautiful orange, pink, and purple color. Max looked at Bella and said, "Thank you, Bella. You taught me that kindness is the most important thing in the whole world." The story of Bella and Max shows us that true strength comes from kindness, being kind and caring for others. We not only make the world a better place to live in, but also find true happiness for ourselves. Kindness is powerful, can change our hearts and even those who seems to be hardest to reach. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.